Good morning, everybody. It's Tuesday morning. Well, it's still morning. It's getting closer to noon. But after I took, I got up this morning, I said my morning prayers, and then I took uh, one of my kids to have blood drawn at a lab. So, because they open real early, and then I came home, brought him home, and I made breakfast. And by the time I dropped off the two youngest at school, I had a headache and I felt tired. So I went back to bed. I still have a headache after waking up. So I decided it must be a hunger headache. Bismillah. I have kale and turnips and green beans. Green beans grew in my garden. Bismillah. Mm. I cooked it yesterday. I ate some yesterday, but now I have leftovers to eat today too. Whenever I feel hungry, I can go eat that. I used to make it with sweet potatoes, but sweet potatoes are not low carb. So I got turnips instead. Mm, that was a big stem. They're spicy because I also put a jalapeno in. And I used Slap Your Mama. It's a Creole or Cajun seasoning. But that's not spicy enough for me on its own. But I found out with keto, you need electrolytes. So I did a study, very, very basic study. But I found out the best sources of keto, electrolytes to eat when you're eating a keto diet. Uh, Kale is one. Turnips are also a fabulous source of things we need, like magnesium. And then I found out the two lowest carbs form of nuts. I have my walnuts here, and I have my Brazil nuts here. The Brazil nuts are the lowest in carbs that I could find, and also the best source of magnesium I could find. It doesn't say it on the package, but it doesn't say anything about magnesium on the package, but I checked online the best sources of magnesium, and these were one. So I will eat, a serving is a 4th cup. This is, I don't know, it could be a 4th cup. So I will eat about 4 nuts because they're kind of big. And the number of carbs is, net carbs in a 4th cup is 2. So it does have a little bit of carbs. But they have the fat. In a 4th cup, they have 20 grams of fat, 2 net carbs, and 4 grams of protein. So the measurement is right in those. I also have something else in the oven. I cannot drink more than 1 cup a day of coffee because coffee is a diuretic. I'm also going to have some of these hot pickled asparagus. They're also keto. They 1 ounce or about 2 pieces has 1 net carb. My daughter also loves these and she helps me eat them. I think that's so cute that she'll sit there and eat pickled asparagus. I made some more of these pepperoni bites with cheese, and I used only a little cheese because the cheese will be so much crispier if I use just a little. I was having issues with my skin being super dry and it felt like chapped lips all over. So I was reading something about keto rash. I think it can happen easier because you can easily get slightly or very dehydrated on keto if you're not drinking enough liquids. So my whole face felt like chapped lips. It was just dry and itchy, and it burned, especially across my nose and my forehead and on my cheeks. And I was reading scary things about keto rash, and it was saying that it once it disappears, I mean, once the red is gone, it will turn into a brown thing. So what I did, instead of allowing it to stay dry, I put A&D cream. A&D is the ointment, yes, ointment on my face. And I was giggling because that's diaper cream, but I was putting it on my face. But it made my face feel so good, and it didn't itch anymore or burn. And I swear by this. I put it on any place where I have super dry skin, uncomfortable, burning, itching, dry skin, and this heals it immediately. A&D ointment, and you can see I have a large container of it because I swear by this. It doesn't really have a good smell, but it's so effective that I don't have to use it very often, maybe once or twice. And then I don't have to use it anymore because it's so effective. Of course, I have things that smell good too that I use when I'm not having a crisis with my skin. But I wanted to put that out there because sometimes people struggle and you don't know what to use. And I found something that was effective for me. So I hope if someone has a problem and they haven't found a solution, I hope that will help you. I put it on the bottom of my feet and healed painful bleeding cracks. So it's worth its weight in what I paid for it. It wasn't very expensive. It was not expensive. It might have been between $6 and $10 for that container. I bought it once when my kids had a severe sunburn because they stayed out longer than we thought they would. They wouldn't let me use it on them. I used something that was a spray because I didn't have to touch their skin. Brazil nut. When I was a kid, my dad would bring bags of uncracked nuts. They were still in the shell. For Christmas, most years we'd have them for Christmas. Uncracked nuts and oranges. I thought that was really nice of him. You bring us on Christmas Day. He didn't let my mom cook very much, and we'd sit around and eat oranges and cracked nuts and other snacks. Cookies she'd been baking for weeks. He said that Mom gets the day off. And I thought how nice that was. These pickles are good. I want one. Bismillah. They don't taste like asparagus very much. They're crispy and spicy and vinegary. I would like to eat half the jar, but if I eat that in one sitting, it will add up too many carbs. It's just plain coffee with plain whipping cream. Let's see if I can eat some of my Crispies. I don't have to put oil in it because cheese and pepperoni has enough oil. So that's not something I have to worry about. Especially this pan being a non-stick pan also. Bismillah. They're so crispy when I just put a little pinch of cheese in the bottom and a little pinch of cheese on top. It turns out so crispy. I don't know how many I can actually eat. Probably not more than 3 at one sitting. But they're good and they're still crunchy when I put them in the refrigerator and eat them cold the next day. The cheese is a bit lacy because I put a small pinch on it there. I have a request. My sister Annie is pregnant and she had an ultrasound done. She's 15 weeks along. And they found out the baby had some kind of abnormal growth. Like a cyst on its neck and down its back. The doctor told her that they don't know how come she hasn't miscarried yet because of what it looks like. So please remember my sister Annie and her husband Titus. in your prayers if you're a praying person. And if you're not, then please send positive vibes and comforting thoughts if you can, because every ounce of prayer and positivity can help her. That's dreadful. Dreadful, dreadful. She already has 6 kids, 3 little boys and 3 little girls, but Mennonites don't use birth control. So they end up having quite a row of kids, usually. And all of them are wanted. Each one is wanted. They don't believe in things that some people believe in. Oops, I'm keeping eating. I shouldn't. Of course, they don't believe in abortion. He said if the baby is born, it will more than likely be stillborn, or it will have severe issues if it lives. So we know God can heal. God is the master of creation and he's the master healer. So he can do something and perform some miracles to help this baby, because we all know this baby is wanted, already loved very much, and no mom wants to go through that. All of her little kids are so cute, and they get along well with my kids, considering that their culture is completely different. They're still very warm and chatty with my kids, and my kids love them. And we would love to love that one, to be able to love the one that's on the way. We don't want something to happen to that baby. I lost one in 2009, not recently, but a mother never forgets that. A mother always remembers that little heartbeat and that little soul that went back to God. And my sister-in-law also lost one not very long ago. She had to have surgery because hers was an ectopic pregnancy. It was growing outside the fallopian tubes. But thankfully for her, the doctor was able to save her ovary. I hope that my sister-in-law can have babies again sometime. She already has one, but they'd like to have more. A lot of families want more than one, but sometimes it doesn't happen. Sometimes your family's complete with one, and that's okay. And sometimes I know there are women who don't want babies at all, but most women do. Most mommies want their babies. You want to hold them and hug them. Anyway, my other sister, Ruth, is also pregnant. Probably her last one, because she's 40, I think 45 already. Yeah, I'm 50. She should be turning, maybe she's 44. She'll be 45 on her next birthday. But she's in her mid-40s, so that's probably her last one. Anyway, my sister Ruth has a row of kids, but every one of them was born via C-section, so that's a high risk because of her age and also because of the number of C-sections she's already had. But every one of them is wanted, A mom will do whatever a mom has to do when they want a baby. Sometimes it's not enough. Sometimes God wants them back.